people are noticing that house prices are still going up. They haven't really dropped in a major way, although across the nation as a whole, we do see some prices dropping a little bit on the coast on really expensive markets. For the most part, prices are holding strong. The real estate market is holding strong. Interest rates are higher, which makes affordability a little bit more difficult. And inside Alchemist Nation, I've been getting a lot of the same type of question. What do I do right now? How do I buy a piece of real estate when the market is so hot? Show of hands if you've been asked the same thing or thought it yourself. How do I buy when things are so crazy, when things are unaffordable or difficult to purchase? We're going to go through some of those strategies today, what we're doing and how it works. But we're also going to look at a wealth principle that is very unique in the sense that everybody knows it, but not everybody understands it. So wealth principle 20 today is apply the 10x rule to your planning. We're also going to review wealth principle 18, which I skipped last week on accident, but it was important, I think, to bring it back in. It's a very important wealth principle. Number 18 is only deliver the highest quality product or services, and from there, constantly improve. Show fans if you've already made a commitment to only create the highest quality product or services and constantly improve. Awesome. Excellent. So for those of you who are new to Alchemist Nation, our commitment is to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires, and we're doing it across 300 separate cities. So our goal is to build 100 millionaires in each one of those 300 metros. And the reason we're doing this is because, well, it's easy, it's fun, and it's something that we enjoy, but also we believe that there's a massive, massive opportunity in the marketplace created by the largest wealth transfer of all time. Show fans if you've heard of this baby boom generation. There's $71 trillion about to transfer over to their children and their children's children. And so if entrepreneurs aren't out there solving this problem, then somebody will. Somebody's going to make a lot of mistakes. And I think that it's possible for you to go out and learn how to work with older folks, the baby boom generation, help them move their real estate into your management and allow them passive income in their retirement that also transfers to their children. If you want to learn more about it, you can go to alchemiststation.com. If you want to volunteer or sponsor one of our local events, obviously go to alchemiststation.com. Before we get started, let me just say, welcome back, Alchemists. This is the 52 Weeks to Wealth. We're on this journey looking to double our income and double our net worth. Show of hands if that's true for you. You want to double your income and double your net worth. Awesome. So we've been focused on doing this every year, and every year it gets harder and harder and harder and harder. And yet it's exactly the same amount of work it was in the beginning. The biggest work was always the mindset. At first, I had to set the goal of doubling what I already had. In the beginning, doubling my first $2,000 was really, really hard. Show of hands if you remember only having $2,000 in your account. You were young, right? It was long time ago for most of you. It was hard to go from $2,000 to $4,000. It was hard to go from $4,000 to $8,000. It was hard to go from $8,000 to $16,000. It was hard to go from $16,000 to $32,000. It was hard to go from $32,000 to $64,000. It was hard to go from 64,000 to 128,000. It was hard every single step of the way. It was hard to get to 1 million. It was hard to get to 2 million. It was hard to get to 4 million. I'm on my way going after that 8 million. And I'm struggling. Right? It's taking me a little longer than I would have liked. Show of hands, sometimes your goal is taking you longer than what you would have liked. Who's also set some big 10x goals for themselves. Some big goals, scary goals, audacious goals, right? Harry, the BHAGs, big audacious goals, big hairy audacious goals. Today, we're going to go through why setting 10x goals is so important and what 10x actually means. Grant Cardone popularized the term 10x, but he didn't create it. 10x has been around for a very long time. A lot of really successful entrepreneurs have always said, if I just do 10x activity, if I act as if I was going after 10x the activity, I would be more likely to hit my actual target goal, the actual thing that I'm looking for. We were talking to Vinny Chopra this week. I was asking Vinny, I was like, how do I go to 300 locations across the country? Right now I have 30, so I'm 10xing. I'm looking at 10x. And prior to the call and after the call, he was talking about this philosophy of, I know you want to hit 300, Walter, but what you really got to do is go after 3,000. If you go after 3,000 events, then it'd be a lot easier for you to build the systems to go after the 300 events. Show of hands if that makes sense. And this is a philosophy I haven't even talked to my team yet about. It's like literally Vinny said it on Thursday, and I was like, okay, I got to talk to these guys. It wasn't recorded, so it didn't. Everybody did watch that video. It didn't get recorded, so I apologize. I'm telling you now, 3,000 makes me think differently. I can no longer operate at the level that I was operating at to get to 300. I know I can do 300 in 3 or 4 years, but if I want to go after 3,000 in a year, I have to think at a completely different level. Show of hands if your business could operate differently if you were thinking differently. So we're going to walk through how that works today. For those of you who are new, coming through Facebook, I didn't start off rich, and I also didn't start off bald. Now, I'm not going to say that I lost my hair because I was making more money and business is stressful, but I will tell you that building a business is really, really, really hard. It's really painful. It's very stressful. When I was 28, I went through a divorce. I lost absolutely everything except for two properties, but I lost all of my capital and I was in debt. I was in debt. I was way, multiple 10-figure debt worth less than I was born with. But by 30, I was financially free. It took me 2 years to recover from the divorce. 2 years. I don't know if I recovered emotionally in the 2 years, but financially, it took me 2 years to recover from that divorce. By 30, I was financially free. By 32, I was a millionaire. And by 34, I was a multimillionaire. And now at 38, I just turned 38 2 weeks ago. I've got a little son on the way. He'll be here in June. And I've got this beautiful community of people who are committed to building millionaires. By the way, show of hands if you're committed to building 100 millionaires in your market, in your community. Awesome. Let's give everybody on this call a big round of applause. I share that because Darina tells me if I don't share that, people just think I'm some rich kid and I got rich because I'm white and I got rich because I'm bald and I got rich because, I had all the right stuff. I did not, right? The city I started, Mike Shine will still make fun of the city I started in because it is the worst city in the state of Massachusetts. If you look up Fall River, highest crime rate, lowest income. This is the city I started in. This is the city that I fell in love with and I started building a business in. What I said when I started, after I went through divorce, and what changed my mind was I said, I'm going to improve my city. I'm going to make my city a better place to live. I'm going to make my city a better place to invest. I'm going to tell everybody about my city. I'm going to pimp it out. I'm going to make my city the greatest place to live. And I focused hard on that for about 5 years. Show of hands if you've got a little bit of loyalty to your city, your community, if you'd like them to do better. All right. I think that helps as an entrepreneur. I think it helps to care about the people who live next to you. I think it helps to care about the people around you. And so, with that in mind, let's walk through the steps to 10xing, and then we'll go into the steps to actually elevate your product so it is the best product. Again, show of hands if you're committed to doubling your income and doubling your net worth this year. All right. So, we understand it means you must help more people. I'm wearing the shirt Mission to Millions because Mission to Millions is coming up. Doug McGurk will be teaching with his wife, Heidi. And Darina, I think at some point we'll drop the link or we'll talk about it on Wednesday. But Mission to Millions is an event where we actually go in deep and we figure out how to get you to that next level, like how to tie your passion to your purpose, how to tie your income to what you believe in. Show of hands if you've ever found yourself not motivated, like low motivation days where you're just like, fuck, like I don't know what to do. It could be that your mission to millions hasn't quite been impacted upon. You haven't gotten it tied to your purpose, tied to your passion. And if that hasn't quite worked out for you yet, we're going to walk you through a series over 3 days to get you there. This is not a super expensive event, but some people did pay over $10,000 to be there. So we have an online availability now. And let's give Darina a big round of applause for making sure it's available to everybody. And for our community members in the mastery program who said, yeah, let's bring other people into this because we think everybody deserves the abundance. Pull out your pen and paper if you have them. We're going to go through about 3 steps for 10xing. These 3 steps are necessary to understanding the philosophy itself in your business. Show of hands if you do have a business, because if you don't, this will be really fucking hard. Okay, everybody's got a business. Awesome. All right, so 1, in order to implement the 10x concept, actually, before we start that, what 10x does, the results it creates is you will think bigger at the end of this. You will act more boldly and you will persist resiliently. So those are the 3 results we're going to get. And I've been told by my mentors, if I don't tell people results, they won't know why they're doing the actions. So that is what we're looking for. We want to increase the thinking of what you're doing, thinking bigger, acting more boldly. Who here believes they'd make more money if they acted more boldly, if they took more bold action? Okay. And then persisting and creating more resilience when things get difficult. Who here believes that that would help you make more money when things get tough? If you could just keep doing the right activities in the moments. All right, cool. So that is the result we're seeking. So number 1, you must set 10x goals. I kind of gave it away earlier when I said, I want to build 300 events. I've got 30. I want to build 300. That is a 10x goal, but in order for me to get 10x planning, which is what the wealth principle is, I must go 10x one more time. I have to go for the 3,000 because if I start building systems for the 3,000, I'll hit my actual goal. Show of hands if that makes sense. Now, if I just wanted to double, if I just wanted to get to 60 events, I could aim at the 300 and that would be totally fine. That would help me get to the 60. But my goal is to actually nail down 300. So write down your actual goal, and then I want you to 10x your actual goal. This is a misunderstood philosophy. A lot of people say, this is what I have, so I want to 10x. That's not how you 10x. You have to take that goal and then 10x that and start working towards that 10. It's 100x really is what it is. But you have to go look for that. That second goal is what you're aiming at, but you will end up with the 10x result. So write that down, whatever those numbers are. The first one, the 10x, and then the 10x of the 10x. Here's where people fail, not tying in the actual work, the actual actions necessary. Show of hands if you wrote a number down, by the way. Show of hands if you just wrote a number down. Okay. The number is not work. The number is not how you get there. If I wrote down $1 million and I 10x the $1 million to $10 million, that will not get me $10 million. It will not get me $1 million. It won't even get me $100,000. I now have to tie it to an action plan. I have to tie that to a series or amount of action that would result in it. For me to make $1 million, I know what I do. I go and I buy a $5 million property for $4 million. So if that makes sense, I got $1 million equity day one, right? That's how my philosophy. If I want to buy if I want 10 million in equity, I'm going to buy a $50 million property for $40 million. We understand the action steps have changed. In real estate investing, we do bigger deals. In a business, we talk to more clients or we sell a higher ticket product. We add an additional product on the back end of if our funnel is pumping, we can add a higher ticket product at the end of our funnel. So the action step, I want you to write down, what is the product that you sell, the price, your highest ticket product, what do you sell? How many would you have to sell? Those are the next two numbers. 10x is like, in order to 10x your goals, you must put down numbers on a piece of paper. And for those of you who already know, stay to the end. Doug McGurk will walk us through a mindset program to make sure that everything you've written down actually happens in your life. We're going to go and neuro hack so that it does happen for you. Not through manifesting, through you actually taking the right actions. Show of hands if you're okay with taking actions if it leads to the results you want. All right, that's why this community works so well. All right, Alchemist Nation, let's drive forward. Show of hands if you've written down your action steps. You know the number now. You've got the actions written. Perfect. Excellent. Number 3, you must embrace the 10x mindset. You must adopt a mindset of abundance. And the easiest way to do let me say, before I explain it, the easiest way to do this, you must adopt possibilities. You must adopt that you can be able to receive at that level. I was talking to one of my leaders yesterday, and he was very vulnerable. And he was like, "Man, like I just sabotaged my money. Like I literally gave somebody a discount when they were willing to pay. They were willing to pay full price. I gave them a discount. Like, what is going on?" So I want you to open your heart and be willing to receive. So what I'll explain for you right now is that this is an abundant universe. I had this conversation with Thurman in the gym yesterday when I was, beating him up, like physically his body. I went after his mind. I was like, you know why you're not making money? Because you don't know how much there is. So I want each one of you to understand there's over $13 trillion US dollars in the floating economy, literally $13 trillion in the economy. Show of hands if that's a lot of money. It's a lot. So you understand that is 1,000 times a billion. That's 13,000 times a billion. Right? A trillion is 1,000 billions. And if you don't think that's a big number, a billion is 1,000 millions. And if you don't think that's a big number, a million is 1,000 thousands. So when we think about a trillion, there's nothing you've done in your lifetime that you've ever done a trillion times except for your heart beating and possibly your lungs. At some point, you might cross the trillion. Show of hands if that makes sense. We understand how much there is, abundance, but that's not all there is. There's also over $13 trillion in the stock market. In fact, in the top 10 companies, there's over $13 trillion. Just the top 10 companies. By the way, there's 7,000 companies in the US and Chinese stock market, in the world stock market. Show of hands if we understand there's a lot more out there. There's a lot of money. There are currencies that I'm not counting. I'm only counting US fucking dollars. I'm only counting literally US dollars. Canadian dollars, there's money there. There's the yen, there's money there. The euro, there's money there. There's a lot of money. But if we really want to look around at abundance, the asset class I haven't even looked at, there's $87 trillion worth of real estate in the world. Write that number down. It's important for you to understand that there's $87 trillion of real estate. Trillions of dollars. By the way, crypto, for those of you who are like, oh, I should invest in crypto, there's only $3 trillion in crypto. It's important to know these numbers. There's $12 trillion in gold. The value of gold out there. The asset classes, right? There's trillions. I'm using a T here. So fans, if you know, there's plenty for you. There's plenty of money for you to get your millions, your couple millions, your 10 millions, for those ambitious ones, 100 millions. There's plenty. There's plenty for all of you. There's plenty for each of you. There's a lot. So it's really important. So number 3 is embrace the 10x mindset. And another example of this is a seed from a plant. If you ever go and like grow pepper plants or grow wheat or apples or pumpkins, anybody eating a cantaloupe or a pumpkin, seeing all the seeds on the inside? It's insane, right? One of those creates a tree that creates hundreds of that particular fruit. That's how the universe works. Inside your cell, I'll tell you one. In order to get to my son, I had to have thousands of sperm fight for one egg. Thousands. I wasn't trying with just one sperm. Good luck. It was thousands. So fans, you understand the universe is abundant, but you got to put the effort in. 10x, right? I don't know, little sperm that created Emerson, like that was a fighter, right? That dude like went through some shit, had a lot of competition. Well, your goal at the end, you got to put some effort into it. All right, so embrace the 10x mindset. Those are the 3 steps. 1, you must write down your goals. 10x the 10x, and then build an action plan that would go after that 100x. Now, your aim is still to get to your 10x, or it may be to get to your double, but the point is that in order to get there, you're going to have to 10x the activity, the action plan to get there. Number 3, embrace the abundance mindset. Recognize that there's plenty. If I think Grant Cardone did the example of post-it notes. If you wanted a bunch of post-it notes, that was your goal. You had to go and see how many post-it notes there were in the world to see if there was even enough for you to have post-it notes. We just did that with dollars. Show of hands if you understand. There's plenty of dollars for you. There's no shortage. All right, plenty of dollars. Awesome, and they can always print more. We've just proved it. So let's drive into wealth principle 18. We're going backwards a little bit. Wealth principle 18 is to only deliver the highest quality product or services and from there constantly improve. We were with our sales team yesterday, and somebody on the sales team asked, she said, well, how do I know that this is like, how do I sell this to somebody? Like, how do I have the conversation? How do I sell this idea to them? And the simplest answer is you have to believe in what you're selling. If you don't own it yourself, it becomes hard to sell something. If you don't genuinely believe what you're selling is a super valuable product, then it becomes hard to sell the thing. And I gave the example of real estate. When I was a real estate investor, I owned 2 properties. I already owned 2. I was a hyper buyer. In fact, when I was taking my buyers out, I was buying more real estate. When I shifted to become a seller's agent, I put my properties on the market and I kept buying and selling. When I shifted to become a great seller's agent, I was selling my own stuff too. So I was able to talk about why I'm selling, return on equity. I was having these conversations with people saying, the reason I'm selling my property right now is the same reason you should sell yours. There's a bunch of equity in it. I could take that money and roll it to buy more property. BRRRR strategy. And I was teaching sellers the BRRRR strategy, teaching them how property management worked, how to put a property manager instead of them self-managing their 3-family. I was like, you don't own a 12 unit, right? And have somebody else pay that. And it'd cash flow more than you're making on your 3-family. And it would go up in value just like you've seen. I was a seller, right? I was personally a seller. I still am a seller. And I was also a buyer, and I still am a buyer. So I'm able to teach how to buy because I'm an active buyer. I'm literally doing deals. And now I'm a refinancer. So I'm telling everybody right now that be careful with what you buy in real estate because it's going to be hard to get down to a 7% interest rate on the commercial side. It's a lot easier to get 8% or 9%. So your deal has to work at a 10%. It should be able to work at a 9% interest rate. And if you can't pull it off at those rates, negotiate a little bit harder, go a little lower, work terms with the seller, right? We're doing a lot of terms. So deliver a high quality product or service. So we're going to go into why this is important. 1, it means you can sell. I can't sell if I don't believe in it. So the better the quality is, the easier it'll be for you to sell. 2, you'll get referrals. You have other people selling your product. So creating quality assurance in the product creates customer assurance that they'll keep coming back to you. And then continuously improving means that you get to stay in business because competition will come around right after you. The better you get, the better somebody else is going to have a template to follow. Show of hands if you've seen that before. All right, the better again, the better the template is. All right, so it's really important to keep going. All right, so we're gonna go through steps on improvement. First, you need a commitment to excellence. I gave you 2 reasons why having the best quality product, the best services. And for real estate investors, why is working with you better than working with anybody else? Why is it easier to work with you than anybody else? Come up with 2 or 3 reasons. Why are you better than everybody else? Don't say I buy in cash. Don't say, because you don't have to fix the house when I buy. That's what everybody else says. What makes you different, right? Why is investing with you a little bit better? For when people invest with me, I give them an actual retirement plan. I make sure that their money goes to their children when they die. I make sure that it's protected in a trust so that their children have access to that capital. The passive income is legacy wealth that keeps going on and on and on. It separates me from other investors. Most investors are just like, I want to buy your house. I don't care what I got to say to you. For me, I want you to be glad you did the transaction. I want you lending to me for the rest of your life. I want a long-term relationship, and I want to make sure that you have the passive income so your family's doing very well. So, fans, if you could do something like that in your business, your market, awesome. Continuous improvement, that next level of continuous improvement. What can you tweak today? What can you set up in the future to tweak? I told Dorina this morning, I was like, there's nothing on our website that says how to volunteer for an Alchemist Nation event. I was like, I'm angry. Like, I think that's something we should have fixed. So that's continuous improvement. We're going to go and make sure that if you want to volunteer for one of our events, you can go click the link. I told Gary the other day, I was like, there's nowhere on the website that says sign up to get the newsletter. All right, click here to get the newsletter. And I realized we were on the call yesterday. We were in the Recession Proof Challenge. Who here has been in the Recession Proof Challenge before? The RPC? All right, so we were in the Recession Proof Challenge, and I was going through and I was teaching one of the lessons, and the lesson was create shareable links, like refer a friend links on your website. And I went to my website and there was no refer a friend link. And then I thought about it. I was like, man, like because we have a refer a friend link on our newsletter. So if you're getting our newsletter with all the free resources and all the free events and all the extra access to things, then you already know there's a refer a friend button there. But our website doesn't have a refer a friend button. I teach this in my class. I'm a hypocrite. So fans, if you can constantly improve, no matter who you are, there's always ways to constantly keep improving and leveling up. Another thing, we built the Your Millionaire Path. Who's taken Your Millionaire Path report? You've taken it before. You got your millionaire path, so you know how to get to your $1 million net worth. I was at the gym today, and I was doing some meditation, lifting some weights, doing some squats, and it was right when the weight hurt the most, and I let go. My brain snapped, had an idea. I realized I have never built a calculator for sellers to get passive income, for homeowners to get their actual financial freedom, for millionaires to get the $10,000 passive income. Show of hands if you know millionaires who don't have 10,000 passive income. I know plenty. Net worth doesn't equate to cash flow. Net worth doesn't necessarily mean cash flow. And what I realized is I've talked about ROE, but it's a complex conversation. A lot of people still wish I would talk about it again. Show of hands, you still need more lessons on ROE, how to have that ROE conversation. All right. So I'm realizing that's something I could automate by creating a training around the idea of if you have this, if I create a calculator, it would literally tell a person, should I sell or should I hold? Because I know the numbers. I know that if I have 4 years worth of equity, I'm going to hold forever. But if I have 5 years worth of equity in the property, 5 years of cash flow of equity in the property, I'm going to sell the property because I can roll that faster. I can make those 5 years back quicker. That to you, you're like, okay, hopefully you wrote that down. All of you figured it out. But most people don't understand what I just said. And a calculator would make it a lot easier. Show of hands if you understand. That's something I should work on. That's something I should at least build a team around and get it taken care of. Continuous improvement, but I can't get it done today. But I'm telling you, I texted Dorina and I said, hold me fucking accountable to this because I realize what's missing is I'm telling people to have the ROE conversation. They don't know how to have it. They need something in an appointment where they can just like, by the way, let's run this together. And now you hand the seller the proof that they need to sell their house if they need to, or you hand the owner the proof that they need to rent their property out and get more cash flow, just raise the rents or something. So fans, you'd still do that even if it didn't work out for you to buy a house. You'd walk a person through and just be a decent human being. Yeah. All right, so I got to work on that. That is continuous improvement. So each one of you write down a project that you could do that maybe you can't fulfill today, but maybe a year, 6 months, 3 months. I have books that I want to write because the community needs them, but they take time. Books take me 3, 6 months. So I have things written out years in advance that I want to be able to get to. Write down at least one thing that you'd like to get to improve your product, improve your customer service. All right, action steps. One, define quality standards. And you write down one or two things that when somebody comes to you, they get a different experience from everybody else, which is why they refer to you to other people. For Alchemist Nation, when you come to Alchemist Nation versus other networking events, we do two things that makes us different from other people. One, we don't charge you anything. Show of hands if you've been to a networking event for free. An Alchemist Nation event, it was completely free. Awesome. So we're different from all of the RIAs, all of the other events that charge money. Two, we're committed to building millionaires. Who here has been followed up by somebody in our team from a networking event that they went through? Yes, because we have a different philosophy. We have a different belief system. When you go to an Alchemist Nation event, we're committed to you becoming a millionaire. Now, we're not going to charge you to become a millionaire. We're going to walk you through buying real estate. We're going to walk you through selling assets or increasing your income on the sales side of your business or building your business to sell your business to get rich. Wealth Principle 33. So, fans, if you understand, the philosophy is different here. That's what makes us different. So, quality standards. When somebody comes into our event, our community, our team leaders must track them, because if we don't track them, we can't help them. Two, our community leaders must reach out to them and inform them about our process, because if they're not informed, well, then they're uninformed and they could just leave our event and never come back and never have the impact of somebody looking to help them out. So, fans, if you're thankful we informed you, we let you know what we do and how we do it. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. I love each one of you committed to the process. So, number one, define your quality standards. Define what they are. For us, it's got to be free. It's got to be accessible to everyone. And two, it's got to work really damn well. It must build millionaires. It must create financial freedom for the human being who's involved. Number two, establish quality control processes. How do you check? Well, I could check if people checked in because I check with my hosts. I text the host, say, hey, 30 people showed up, only 22 checked in. What can we do to fix that? What can we do? What can we do, right? What can we do? So establish quality control processes. Have people become millionaires in the community. For a little while, we didn't have a way to hold people accountable. We didn't know. Then we created the net worth tracker. And net worth tracker literally tells us this person's net worth is here. Now it's here. Now it's here. And if somebody's net worth goes backwards, they get a call from me. In most of those cases, it's me making those calls. I know I can't say this out loud because it won't be me forever. So I want to be very clear. But when somebody's net worth goes in reverse, that may be a signal that triggers us to pull out the big guns. Something's going wrong. This is not a community of everything's working, like everybody, sticks together, and when something goes bad, we disappear. This is when things go bad, we get tighter. We pull in just like, tribes, right? Pull in together and we figure it out. We work through the problems. We don't just ignore a person who hasn't done well, or ignore a person who hasn't done a deal the right way. Those are the people who need, in most cases, the most help. True or true? Awesome. So establish quality control process, ways to track. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not perfect. Alchemist Nation is not perfect. The systems I want built don't exist. The systems I keep telling my team to build, they keep telling me we don't have the technology yet. Okay, cool. We don't have the funding yet. Cool. Like, so that we're building a big list. Show of hands if you may have to do the same thing in your company. Build a big list. Yes, it's okay. It's okay. Set some goals, tell people about your goals, and keep working towards them. You will get it done, but establish quality control. Start with what you have today and keep improving, keep growing. Number three, solicit customer feedback. The only way you will possibly become the greatest product on the planet is if you ask your customers where you're fucking up. Most entrepreneurs are afraid to do this. For me, I know I'm making mistakes. I want to know that I can fix them. Right? So a lot of times my customers tell me what I can do right. My client, Alchemist Nation, literally is the only reason I do right things is because I've done a lot of wrong things. The only reason that we built 30 millionaires is because I've asked 400 millionaires how they got there. The only reason we've built 30 millionaires is because I've trained over 2,000 people and figured out what wasn't working and what is working. And I started realizing there's only a certain type of person who ever becomes a millionaire. It's not everybody. Right? I can go out and I can teach this to a whole lot of people, and not everybody will be successful. There's only a certain type of person who actually wants it bad enough, who actually even cares about making $1 million, because most people don't care. Most people just want enough to be happy, just enough to be comfortable, which is why they work jobs that they hate, because they're working just enough to be comfortable so that they can watch the football game on Friday nights and on Sunday. And so they can mentally prepare themselves for Monday because that's what they're used to. And I'm not saying that I don't believe in hard work. I love hard work, right? I go to the gym for an hour in the morning. I hit yoga an hour after that. I work 6, 7, 8, 12 hours a day on calls, training, teaching, coaching, guiding, talk to my team. And then I'll go to yoga again later on in the night, or I'll go to the gym again later on in the night. I still make time for the Russian princess, and we'll continue to do what we do because I love activity. Who here loves production, like doing things that matter? Like hard work is okay if it's good work, if it's things that activate your body. Mike Shine always talks about he hates hard work, but the dude bikes, he mountain bikes, right? Through like hills and like he does the hardest exercise that there is in my mind. But because, he doesn't want to work hard for his results. He wants the results to become easily. So when I say hard work, grind, hustle, I mean do it with the mindset that you know you're going to get the job done, right? That it's going to be okay, that you're equipped to do it. Like trust that you are the right person to do the activity. And if things are really hard, like Thurman right now is working out with me in the mornings. He's going to the gym this fifth or sixth time. It's hard. He's having a hard time. He needs rest after, a 45-minute workout, an hour workout with me. After an hour workout, I think I'm just primed to go to the next one. Show fans if you know what I'm talking about. My fitness people who like are like, yeah, now I'm ready to work out, right? So it takes time to get to that level. It takes time to improve yourself. So I want you to consider asking your customers for feedback often and always. I'm always asking community, and sometimes I fuck up. Oh my God, this past month, totally messed up. I gave Dorina very little feedback on what I wanted her to ask community. She sent out this mass text with like 10 questions on it to all my millionaires. She was like, hey, what's your net worth? How many deals you done? How much money have you made this year? How many connections throughout? It was like all this big blast. And I was annoying a lot of my really high net worth people inside Alchemist Nation. We make mistakes. You can't ask surveys all at once, but you can ask one question at a time. So when you're asking questions from your community, please just solicit feedback one at a time, maybe 2 questions. Show fans if we can do this. We can ask people how they liked what we did, how they liked our free thing, how they liked our webinar, or they liked the thing we sent them, the PDF or the checklist or the report that we sent. How'd you like the event that you came to? Was the conversation with the coach I sent you to, was that valuable? Are things working out for you? Solicit, right? How'd that deal go? Right? I have any problems with deals? How are you doing with financing? Show fans this making sense. All right, so I jammed 2 principles together. If I haven't already told you why, Principle 20 and Principle 18, the reason we're jamming them together is because Principle 52 is coming up. The 100 Millionaires Summit has been changed to the Business Real Estate Investors Summit. And that Investors Summit is happening April 18th to the 21st. And we're going to be getting together in Orlando. If ticket prices are expensive, go work for it. If the flights and the hotels are expensive, you've got time to put your money together. If you're having a hard time taking 3 days off, you need the summit. If you're having a hard time finding time to take off, we're going to help you get that figured out at the summit. But in advance, talk to one of our coaches. We have plenty of coaches inside the community who are really, really intelligent at helping people with their efficiency, with their planning, with getting to the next level. And we'll do a Q&A session at the end. If you do have any kind of efficiency questions, I'll let the coaches handle that for you. But the summit this year, we're going to be going a lot deeper into technical real estate. We're going to have less speakers. Show fans if that's okay. If we have less speakers, will we get more done? Is that all right? We noticed that revolving time on and off stage, it took us a little more time to get knowledge into your head. So we're going to have less speakers, but they're going to be quality speakers. We're going to have more panels, so you get more of a diverse question base to ask people. And by the way, the people who will be on the panels will be people who are extremely successful. Is that okay if I choose the best? I'm not putting broke people on the panel this year. I never have. But my point is that we're going to put some really valuable people in the room. And this year's summit is going to be a game changer. So prepare for it, get your mind ready for it. And there will be a few people who do become millionaires this year who I'm going to bring on stage and be on panels so you can talk about how you did it, what you did in this market now, because I know everybody on this call is wondering what's the next deal look like? What's the market look like? So we're actually going to be bringing that to the table. So if you're in the middle of doing a deal that could make $1 million, if you want some attention at the summit, Do a deal that can make you $1 million. Show of hands if we understand. It's a simple solution, simple philosophy. There'll be awards this year. We will not be doing the millionaire awards this year. They'll be a little bit different. This year, the awards will be how many millionaires did you help us build? How many millionaires did you build? Or how many millionaires are you working towards building? How many people came to through a funnel that you've built that builds millionaires? So an Alchemist Station event, where are my leaders at? Show hands if you run an Alchemist Station event or volunteer or sponsor. So you could be winning an award if you filled the most amount of people in your room, if they checked into your event. There are awards that we're going to be focused on that are more in line with the community's actual goal of helping more people. If you helped a certain amount of people transact real estate, we may look at that and say, okay, this is an award, top agent of the year. We may have an award for the person, the financial planner who helped somebody raise the most capital. Capital raisers who invested the most inside Alchemist Station. So maybe lenders who've lent the most money to our community. Those are the types of awards. By the way, show of hands, those are really good awards for us to be giving out. Really encouraging people to do activities that help us build millionaires. It's been a lot of feedback from you that has helped us decide what awards really should be handed out at the summit this year. So, Doug, before I bring on Doug, I have to make Doug a co-host. And he already is. Before I bring him on, I just want to share Wealth Principle 52 will be at the 100 Millionaire Summit. I get asked every year, will this be virtual? Will I record Wealth Principle 52 virtually? No. The answer is be at the summit. If you want to experience Wealth Principle 52, it is a 3-day seminar. Wealth Principle 52 is literally sharpen the saw. We're going to be looking at everything you've accomplished over the last year and preparing yourself to drive into the next year. We're going to be rebuilding your business plan. Show of hands if your business plan needs an update already. It's been 6 months and already needs an update. We're going to be doing it together at the summit. We do this every year. We look at the business plan, we look at what's changed, and we redo it. We do it together. There will be the millionaire contract. Who here's already signed it? Who here's excited about signing it? All right. So the millionaire contract is a cheat. It's a hack. It's a tool that we've used because I found it, by the way, in the fitness facility, the fitness world. They said that a person who signed a self contract, a I will lose weight contract with themselves was 20% more likely to lose the set amount of weight they put on the contract. Now, I'm not a genius, but I know that if it works in the health industry, it works in the wealth industry. So when I started doing this research, we started realizing that if a person signed a self-contract to become a millionaire, or some of you are already millionaires to become the next million, the pentamillionaire, decamillionaire, centimillionaire, that they were more likely to do it because they signed a contract with themselves. Show of hands if you felt the pressure of that contract already. How much it's forced you to do things. I've had people tell me, yeah, I signed the contract. It's messing me up. It's making me do things I wouldn't normally do. I'm going out of my comfort zone because I signed this thing. I signed it. So when people ask, like, well, what happens if you don't reach your goal? Does Walter get paid for that? No, I only get paid if you reach your goal. I really only make money when you are very, very successful. Show of hands if you understand. I live off of testimonials and referrals. So your work, your results help me a lot. Here's a reason I tell you that. If you have somebody you're accountable to who needs your success to occur, it will increase your likelihood of being successful by 25%. That's the power of accountability. If there's somebody who needs you to be successful, you're 25% more likely to increase the effort that it takes to get there. And the reason we do a business plan at the summit, yeah, let that one set in. The reason we do a business plan at the summit is because a business plan is proven, scientifically proven by other people, other companies, not me, to increase your income by 33%. Just a business plan, a one-page business plan or two-page business plan is proven to increase a person's income by 33%. Show of hands if you don't mind a little unfair boost, a little 33% boost. I'm still saying double your income. I'm still saying double your net worth. But what I'm saying is I've got some unfair tools, some things that will give you some unfair advantages that we will be delivering at the summit. It has been modified based on customer feedback. That's why it's very important for me to let you know. I'm listening. So let's give everybody on the call a big round of applause. If you filled out a survey or you've had a conversation with me or the team, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. That being said, Doug McGurk trained with Tony Robbins. He helped Tony Robbins for 3 years. He trained Tony Robbins coaches. He was a coach for him. He was training and teaching and speaking across hundreds of real estate offices and brokerages and helping agents and investors level up their business by teaching the principles that Tony Robbins teaches in mindset training. And Doug is also a real estate investor himself. He invests in multiple different states and has continued to grow with Alchemist Nation for the last 5 years. So Doug is part of the reason we were able to build 30 millionaires. So he's going to walk you through, if you're uncomfortable, it's your first time with Alchemist Nation, then let me tell you, he's going to walk you through some mind-bending experience right now, a little bit of we could call it hypnosis or guided meditation, whatever your religion allows. But the idea is that we're going to go into your brain and we're going to help you agree to go and do Wealth Principle 18 and Wealth Principle 20. Show of hands if I have permission to allow Doug on you to release the hound. All right, in that case, let's give Doug McGurk, the Maximizer, a big round of applause.
Come on, let's give Walter some love. And all of you, again, the commitment. You are here every Saturday. Walter and team are here every Saturday, committed, spreading the love, showing up and giving their most valuable. And you are investing your most valuable asset, which is your time. Indeed. And by the way, just real quickly, one of the things that Walter was sharing about, the quality. Think about, like, when you're wondering, how could I be of even more value? How can I serve even deeper and raise my quality? Think about some of the experiences you've had with other vendors or what have you, whether it's been a hotel, whether it's been a coach, whether it's been a trainer, whether it's been a restaurant. What made that so unique and so special? And then how could you incorporate that into your experience? How could you be the four seasons of your craft, of your service? What would make that little difference? And by the way, it doesn't have to be the biggest experiences. Sometimes it's just a little bit of extra care, just because we don't have to outrun everybody. We just have to outrun the fastest person by a little bit in order to avoid getting killed by the lion. Just throwing that out there.
I love that. And after we do this meditation, we're going to do the book of the week. So if you are wondering what the book of the week is, and if we skipped it, we have not. We're just shifting our format a little bit. All yours, Doug.
All right. So if you're driving, Trevor, it looks like you're driving. Please keep your eyes on the road and allow this to just seep into your other than conscious. You don't have to necessarily close your eyes, do you? But it does help, doesn't it? So, let's see if we're getting some audio. Let me know if you're hearing it. Very nice, very nice. So why don't you go ahead and take a nice, big, deep cleansing breath in. Roll your eyes up to the back of your head till you feel a little strain and relax. That's right. Go ahead and take another big, deep cleansing breath in. And tense every muscle in your body. Tense them up, tense your arms, tense your stomach, tense your butt, tense your legs, tense your feet, tense your toes. Hold it, and relax. Allowing all the stress, all the thoughts, any anxiety to just fall away and relax even more. And with every breath you take in now, feel yourself sinking into a state of tranquility. Your mind open to new ideas and perspectives. Imagine yourself on a serene beach, the rhythm of the waves synchronizing with your breathing. Each wave brings a sense of clarity and focus, washing away any doubts, leaving only a deep commitment to excellence. And as you hone your craft, always seeking improvement, remember that perfection is just a journey, not a destination. Acknowledge your achievements and then ask, How can I enhance this further? Embrace the mindset of perpetual growth, seeing each success as a stepping stone to greater heights. Think bigger, envisioning a future that stretches beyond the horizon of your current reality. With each bold step forward, you dismantle limits, expanding the realm of what's possible. Act boldly, your actions infused with courage and conviction, paving a path of remarkable achievements. Now, as you refine your craft, consider how you can elevate it even further. Improvement is a continuous journey, an endless path that you navigate with curiosity and determination. Embrace the process of enhancement, knowing that with each iteration, you're not just making progress, you are achieving new levels of mastery. And as you connect even more to your higher power, whether that's God, Mother Nature, divine principle, say these words, these affirmations and affirmations aloud or quietly in your mind. I am committed to delivering only the highest quality in every aspect of my work. Why is it that when I plan, I naturally think and act with a 10x mindset, aiming for outcomes beyond the ordinary? I trust in my ability to improve and excel, always seeking ways to surpass my achievements. How do I consistently find innovative approaches to magnify the impact of my efforts? I am a catalyst for transformation, inspiring excellence in myself and others. Now, envision yourself looking at a vast horizon, each star representing a goal or aspiration. As you reach for these stars, you're not just stretching your hand, you're expanding your vision, thinking exponentially. Your plans are not just blueprints, they're launch pads for remarkable achievements, propelling you and your work to unprecedented heights. See the ripple effect of your actions, how your commitment to quality and ambitious planning elevates not just your work, but also those around you, setting new industry standards and inspiring excellence. And as you return from this journey, carry with you the conviction to deliver unparalleled quality and the courage to aim 10 times higher in your planning and execution. These principles are now ingrained in your other-than-conscious mind, influencing your decisions and actions naturally and effortlessly. And in the coming days, you'll notice a profound shift in your approach to work. Your dedication to excellence becomes more pronounced, and your planning more audacious, driving you towards achievements that resonate with success and significance. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, feeling refreshed and invigorated, ready to embrace the challenge of surpassing your highest standards and achieving extraordinary outcomes, won't you? Come on back.
That was pretty good. Let's give Doug a round of applause. You're right, Daniel. For those who don't know who Doug is, remember he's trained with Tony Robbins. So what he just walked us through was a guided meditation. He will be doing a lot of that work at that summit this year and at the Mission to Millions event, which is coming up. Darina has reminded me that we got 2 books this week. Actually, it was Mike Shine who also texted me. 2 books this week because I combined the principle. Fortunately, both books are written by the same exact author. So, Michael Shine, are you ready to do the book of the week? He's got his thumbs up. Awesome. So, Michael Shine is our holistic attorney. He's the closer, and he's also the keeper of the books. Let's give Michael Shine a big round of applause.
Yay. All right. So, if you don't know who Grant Cardone is, what rock have you been hiding under? Yes, he's everywhere. And I always think of Grant as kind of like the most aggressive cheerleader you'll ever meet, because he's right in your face, and he doesn't take he doesn't really talk about fear much. He just kind of, I mean, I just love Grant. Like, sometimes people think he's too aggressive, but I just love him. So we got and Walter was holding up Sell or Be Sold. Sell or Be Sold kind of tells you that everywhere in life you're either selling or being sold to, even with your kids, negotiating over candy first thing in the morning, that type of stuff. And then, but I've read Everett. He has the Millionaire booklet. So he's just got a ton, and they're always just pushing you. And I put a quote in the chat earlier: aim for the moon and you'll hit, if you miss, you still hit the stars. And it's really about that. It's really about, think about it. If you have a goal, well, I want to make $100,000 this year, but you 10x it, like Grant says, 10x. Think about that. So let's aim for $1 million. Okay, so maybe you don't make the goal of 1 million, but you'd probably hit 300,000-400,000. So you'd blow way through that goal. And when you read the 10x rule, he just gets you so amped up and pumped up, and you believe it. It's just about 10xing everything, 10x your effort. Walter and I always go back and forth about, people who have t-shirts that say 24/7 on the grind, 365. And even Grant doesn't really talk about that. He's really all about inspired action, but take the action. Don't let fear get in your way. Step up to it. He's just like a giant cheerleader. I swear to God, if you listen to this on Audible or if you read this book, you suddenly get like so amped up. You just want to do the 10x and you just want to go, go, go. So some people think he's a little bit too strong-willed, but screw it. If it gets you to your goal, who needs it? I mean, who cares? I remember he's on Bigger Pockets. His first episode, he had $300 million worth of real estate. The second time he was on Bigger Pockets, he had like $600 million. And then he decided, well, maybe I should get some partners. And now he's well over $1 billion. So he's a guy who walks the walk and talks the talk. And, sometimes you look at him and go, man, the guy's sitting on the top of his freaking jet. So you're like, you bastard, but it's all effort. He's so amped up, and he's so all about the sales. And yeah. So any Grant Cardone book is a great book. It'll get you amped up, and it'll definitely get you to your goal. I know that.
Oh, Mike, you just got muted, man. Yeah, I don't know what you hit.
Sorry about that. I know Walter goes to his 10X conference every year. And some of my friends also go, and you meet people who have like net worths of like $300 million. what's the front called? Silver, or what are they? The
Diamond.
diamond.
Those are
Yeah.
the expensive tickets.
Yeah. So yes, so I highly recommend Grant Cardone, any of his books. I love 10X the most. His millionaire booklet is
Only the
awesome.
big boys buy the diamond tickets.
There you go. That's what I got. Grant Cardone, he'll get you amped up. You'll be like running through walls by the end of the day.
Let's
Thank
give
you.
Michael Shine a big round of applause. Keeper of the books, our holistic attorney, the closer. Mike just closed out a bunch of real estate deals for us. Big thank you, Mike, for all the work you do keeping our closings running. So yeah, 10X, I get asked often, do I have some sort of affiliate with Grant? I don't. I don't have an affiliate with most of the things I go and do. It's just that it's helped me get there, and I like to bring my community with me, and it's a great place. If I'm going to be there anyway, I love to just connect with you guys. Here's another thing. If you and I are in an event together, you are now a resource for me to connect with as many people as possible. So you and I may split up and then come back and be like, okay, I talked to this person. You need to talk to like, so that's kind of how the game goes. Which is Mitch Dorsky on the call? Because he is the king of networking events. Like if you're ever at an event with Mitch, he literally knows how to find everybody. It also doesn't hurt that he's like, I think he's like 7 feet tall, six,
Can I
six
charge a
two, whatever.
service fee?
So, Mitch, quote of the week, brother. And for
Oh
those of you who
man,
want
just
to stick
put me on the
around for
spot like
questions,
that.
I
I would
will.
quote of the week, but yeah, you are not wrong about the networking thing. It does help being tall because my head bobs along the crowd. But just like Doug McGurk, I have just this natural habit of connecting people. Doug knows everyone on the planet pretty much. I'm just walking in the shadow of knowing people, and
Both,
yeah,
let me interrupt for 1 second. Both of these guys, I've been to networking events with both Walter and Mitch. I mean, they just level up the steps they take, the way that like Mitch will introduce you to anybody, and he talks to so many people. So if there's anybody you want to meet, and Walter has this way of being super kind to people, meeting them, but not getting stuck in that 20-25 minutes of somebody who you don't really have a connection with. He's like, let me get your information, and boom, out of there. So if you're ever, if Walter or Mitch ever say they're going to an event, you should definitely connect with them, because it's a learning experience that's worth a lot of money to know what they're doing, and you get it for free. So yeah.
Hey Mike, to put a bow on that, you know what? Going to networking events yourself is great and you should do it. But also like the bigger events, it's literally like a team effort. Like if you go with somebody, you'll meet so many more people because that'll happen. You're going to introduce to each other to people, and that's twice as many people you can get exposure to because there's only one of you. But so team sport when it comes to the bigger events. So especially if they have like buy a ticket, get one free, like 100% bring somebody.
Yeah, and actually, just to add to that, a lot of times what happens is most of us are modest and don't want to really brag about themselves, but they run into somebody at a networking event and they say, really? You're into crypto? Oh my God, I've got this guy who's been doing crypto since 2012. You absolutely have to meet him. Pull him over to Mitch, and then suddenly Mitch has got a connection, and you get some credibility because you made the connection. So it's awesome. It's awesome. Let's go. Let's go to an event.
Now you got me inspired. I'm texting Duran. I'm like, when is 10X? Is that coming up? So,
Deborah
by the way,
said it was in Miami coming up soon.
if you go to an event with me, please let me know in advance. I will make sure you're rocking one of these shirts. I will send it to you, or I'll bring it to you. We'll make sure that you have it. I love walking through a group with a whole bunch of people that are all wearing the same shirt together. It just feels super, super cool. Me and Mitch have even gone to 10X together with QR codes on the back of our shirts that had all the free stuff for Alchemist Nation. And we just like walk through the event with the QR codes on the back. So,
And
yeah, we
just
have a
to
lot of fun.
add, you never know who you might meet, because Walter met Darina at a networking event. So there you go. So it's not just about money; could be about love.
That is true. Yeah, we're gonna turn Alchemist Station to a dating site. App coming soon. All right, let's Mitch, did you give us a quote? I'm trying to get out of
Mike's
it.
got books to do.
We already did the books.
I did them.
Actually, we're missing Sell or Be Sold.
Oh,
Oh,
come
yeah.
on. Thurman, you want to do Sell or Be Sold?
Well,
I just had you reread it.
I mentioned it, but yeah, feel free to do more of a review.
Go ahead, Thurman. Bring us a little more heat to Seller Be Sold. Mike did mention it, but you clearly want a little more on this juice.
Yeah, sure. So seller be sold, it just talks about Grant just talks about the whole mentality around sales and everything in life is sales, like you getting a girlfriend, you convincing people to go with you to an event, maybe you having, some fun time with the lady, that's all sales. And then even to
We can tell Thurman's priorities at the moment, right? Young guys.
oh my gosh, no.
Alchemist Nation is rated G.
I approve of that message. But also too, it just talks about why so many people have like a negative relationship with sales because they haven't decided to become masters at it. And then also too, they always think of your negative sales experiences whether rather than looking at like a great sales experience. So yeah, highly encourage anyone looking to learn about sales. Feel free to go get Uncle G's book.
Awesome. Let's give Thurman a round of applause. Let's give Mitch Jorsky a round of applause. Let's give Michael Shine a round of applause. We're going to open up to Q&A, and at some point, Mitch is going to randomly unmute the mic and give us a rap quote from today's principal. Well, let's unmute the microphones. We're not going to do the networking this week, but if you're interested, if you liked the networking part, drop yes in the chat. We will do it next week if that's something that I get enough votes on. If I feel the love, I will do it next week. For those of you who have never been to an Alchemist Nation free thing, go to alchemiststation.com, get your millionaire path. Step 1, there's 3 steps to becoming a millionaire. Step 1, get your millionaire path report. It will tell you exactly what to do, how to become a millionaire. Step 2, and that is free. All of these are free. Step 2 is 52 weeks of wealth. You're already here, so congratulations. You're smart. You get that Alchemist Nation as well. And then step 3 is to meet your local team, go to a local event, and start working with the sponsors at that event. Those sponsors are not normal sponsors. You're not going to find any solar sales at those events. You're not going to be sold anything at the events. What you will be sold on is the Millionaire Path plan report that you have in your hand. They will work with you to get that report done. Show of hands if that's a good tool, if that's a good resource. 3 steps to becoming a millionaire. It doesn't cost you anything, but you do have to do the work. We'll give you the plan, we'll give you the coaching, and we'll give you the team for free. You just have to do the actual work that we're teaching you how to do that. And for everybody in the mastermind, if you're in the mastermind, this Monday, we have Grant Phillips coming in. Grant Phillips is the author of the book, Private Lender Playbook. This is by far the best book that I have ever read on lending money and on also raising capital. Because if you can think like a lender, you can raise capital. But me as a personal lender, I learned so much about lending money from this book. I'm very thankful for my friendship with Brant. And all Dorina had to do is send him a text, and he was like, yep, absolutely. So he's going to be coming in to speak to the mastermind, answering questions. He won't be giving a presentation. He'll be answering any questions. So for those of you who've read the book, you'll have better questions. So he's coming in on Monday night for everybody in the mastermind. If you would like, if you've never gotten a free night at the mastermind, if you don't, if you're not a member and you haven't gotten a free night yet, please send Dorina a text. Yeah, send Dorina a text. She's sorry, Dorina. And ask her for access this Monday night. Anybody who wants a free access to come into the mastermind to see Grant Phillips, I'm totally cool with it. Just, one-time freebie. Obviously, Mike, Mitch, all you guys, all the coaches, you can come. Just text Dorina, ask her for the link. I want you to meet Brant. He's such an amazing friend of mine, really smart guy. He and I have hung out at a lot of different events, but this book was a game changer for me for lending. Not to sell it to you or anything, but Monday night will be a once in a lifetime opportunity to ask Grant Phillips questions on how private money works. And Mitch Jorsky has his quote. Go ahead, Mitch.
I mean, it popped in my head because Mike was talking about Grant Cardone and talking about like just, hustle, 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 go, go, go. And I've said this quote many times in the past, but it's a classic and it's true. And it's related to not resting on your laurels. And Nas once said, don't sleep because sleep is the cousin of death. So you got to keep it moving. And just because you make it doesn't mean you can shut off the switch. Still got to keep your eyes on the wheel and on the road.
Give Mitch Jorsky a round of applause. I love a good rap quote. We got to go back to Wu-Tang, man. I miss Ryan McDermott. He really inspired you. All right, let's take a couple questions. We'll stick around till 11:30. Anybody who does have to go, please make a post today on social media sharing what your goals are. Let people know what your goals are. Anybody who says don't share your goals is an idiot. They don't think you're tough enough to deal with the haters. So share your goals and just acknowledge some haters are going to talk some shit. That's okay. I said I want to build 100 millionaires. People were like, how many millionaires you build? And I was like, fucking six. What do you want? Like, let's go. I already started with six. Well, you got 97. I can do math too, bro. Like, thank you. I appreciate it. So whatever somebody says about your goal, just take it as feedback. Like, okay, maybe they can help you. We give you some resources, but none of it is. Don't let anything anybody says to you stop you from reaching your goal. So, fans, you commit no matter what somebody says. So please go and post on social media what you're planning to do. It will help people find you. It will help people reach out to you. It'll help people put things into your path, and it may move you a little faster, right? Yeah, he's going hate. That's right, Cliff. You got it. Let's give Cliff a round of applause. He's running Brockton now. Brockton is back in the game. So Brockton, Massachusetts now has an event. Cliff is working on getting us a great venue, and we're going to be starting next month. So thank you, Cliff, for volunteering and jumping into the team, brother. Go ahead. Share very quickly. What made you
I,
jump in?
I was just gonna say thank you for the opportunity, and basically, it's just nice to see people just helping each other, and that's what it's all about. We're pushing the same goals. We want to make money. We want to support our family. We want to be happy. So, thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah, let's give Cliff a round of applause. So for anybody wondering, like, what are the benefits of volunteering and helping us run events? Cliff now gets one-on-one coaching from me personally and from my business consultants, my strategists, like Billy Reuter from Mark Delfini and Doug McGurk. Like, these guys are literally coaching these volunteers. So if you have, in your head, you're like, man, I'd like to volunteer, but I don't really know if it'd be worth it. One, Cliff's going to raise millions of dollars of capital from hosting an event, because that's what happens for hosts is we have all the connections, we get all the deals. He's been doing a lot of flips. He wants to do more buy and holds now. He's going to continue his flipping business, but he wants to do more buy and holds. So raising capital is going to be more important to him going forward. And he's getting one-on-one coaching directly from me and the other business consultants inside Alchemist Nation. Show of hands if it's cool that we pour into our leaders. You're going to have to do the same thing as you scale your business. You pour into your leaders, they'll pour into their teams, and that's how you build whatever is your business is looking to build. If it's cash flow, if it's impact. For us, we want to build millions of millionaires because Vinny Chopra said so. He said, let's do it. So let's take a couple of questions. We got 19 minutes left before I got to jump. First, unmute wins. Go ahead, Billy.
What's up, everyone? So good to see everybody. Happy Saturday. Yeah, as always, I'm like jumping around because I'm excited. This lesson just speaks right to my spirit, really does. And what I'd love to do is offer, it's a quote, but it's more of like a mantra, right? Like we talked about 10x and your goals today. And if you're anything like me, sometimes limiting beliefs show up, right? Like 10x goals seem good. So a daily ritual that I've really shared with myself and my awesome students is this: aligned actions amplify achievement, right? So every action you take today, remember, it's moving you in the direction of that huge goal that might scare you. And that's really powerful, right? So, and I'll make this super fast. Alignment is really everything, right? Your actions and your ambitions, have to be aligned. They just have to. And the more work that we do that is not in alignment, you can create burnout. So on the beautiful Alchemist stage, I gave a quick demonstration. As a fighter, if I have a bent wrist and it's not in alignment, the more power, the more structure, and the more energy I put, the easier I'll break my wrist. Getting into alignment first is everything. That's why we're here. So like Doug was talking about, which obviously could not be more powerful, having the mindset of having a 10x ambition. But remember, that ambition will be created by your daily actions, right? So everybody that's feeling a little bit of like uncertainty of how that I can create 10x, you do it tomorrow. You do it by one action at a time. Aligned actions amplify achievement. I love you all. Thank you for the opportunity.
Give Billy Reuter a round of applause. One of our business consultants. He's helping our leaders get to that next level, and he's helped some really powerful business owners level up. At his peak, he owned 5 gyms himself that he had managed, and he sold that business to help other entrepreneurs do what he's doing now, building wealth, financial freedom. He's helping Jamie. Him and Jamie are working on some deals out in Daytona. He also runs our Daytona community. So let's give Billy one more round of applause. He takes building millionaires personally. He's like, I'll invest with you. Let's go. I feel the same. But Ken Ingram's got on his background. What does that say? Ken is at the Business and Real Estate Investors Summit 2024. Let's give Ken a round of applause. I love that background, man. Yeah, when we logged on earlier, I was like, he wins, automatically wins. Go ahead, Deborah Felder. Deborah's Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Hey Mike, to touch on about that rooming, how to buy a property and room with someone. That 7-bedroom that I had found last year for one of my investors, that's actually what he does with it, and it's easier here in Fort Lauderdale, especially if you find someone that's already zoned to do that. Like in Margate, the house I was looking at across the street, they does the same thing for the veterans. So it's easier as long as you know what to know and know who to know. It's really not that hard, but that's the same concept of what I had. But unfortunately, she didn't want to give it to me for the price that Gary told me to give it. But that's okay though. But that's pretty much the same concept that I have to do for the women and children, to get up and started. And it's much easier if you're doing it through HUD, the government, or anything like that, because it's much easier, especially here in Fort Lauderdale, because that's what they're looking for, to house most of the people. I think they have to October, Sanchez says, to get the people off the streets. And that doesn't necessarily mean the homeless people. That means people that lost their houses through the job or the economy growing. So yeah, that is definitely one of the ways to go, that you can definitely get some great passive income coming in.
Give Deborah Felder a round of applause. Fort Lauderdale, she's crushing as a leader out there, and she's right. You got to find ways to be creative in this market. Residential assisted living is the same thing. It's house hacking. It's taking the same size building and allowing more units in that building to be paying you more. It's delivering more value with less square footage. It's another one is rooming houses. Rooming houses are doing very well right now because same problem. So being a little more creative with your real estate. I know Ken is doing motels. He's doing we'll call it a hotel, right? It's a hotel. It's got keys. It's actually I'd say it's a boutique hotel up in Tennessee. Let's give Ken a round of applause. I think there's $1.5 million in equity on that deal. He and I were looking at it the other day in the mastermind. Patrick McDermott just ran Quincy. Quincy now has an event. So if you're in Quincy, Massachusetts, give Patrick a round of applause. If you're in Quincy, Massachusetts, it's close to Boston, and you want to get into Alchemist Nation and get access to some really cool people. Patrick's a very successful real estate investor, and he's looking to level himself up by leveling up other people. He's a mentor, he's a coach. So make sure that if you are in Quincy, reach out. If you don't know what event is close to you, go to alchemiststation.com and look at the 3 steps. Take step 1, step 2, and then step 3 is the event. On the event, when it brings you there, you can actually go and click events near me, and it will go by your zip code and it'll let you know what events are in your area. So states like Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Florida, there's a lot of events happening around you. If you're in Georgia, there's one. We got Atlanta. Cassandra runs Atlanta for us. So we are expanding. We're looking for more opportunities. Utah's coming online. Denver's coming online. Houston, Dallas just came online. We are expanding. We're looking to get more volunteers, more events running. This is, by the way, the next 2 years, the biggest opportunity for real estate investors to grow your network. It's to grow your relationships. It is to learn selling. It is to learn how to have the ROE conversation. It's to learn creative financing, learning entity structures. Remember, we're serving the elderly over the next 20 years, 24 years. We're serving the baby boom generation. So you have to get more sophisticated as a real estate investor. This isn't just, hey, I'll buy your house cheap. It really has to be thinking about legacy wealth for that person and making sure that they're passing that wealth on to their kids and that they are in a nice place to live, which is why we really believe in the residential assisted living or the ASLs or the memory care buildings. This type of real estate investing will last for 20, 30, 40 years because humans are living longer. And that is something we've never been prepared for. We never created inventory for humans that live into their 80s, into their 90s, into their hundreds. By the way, show of hands if you're committed to living to be 100 years old. If you're going after that centennial status. I love it. Give yourselves a round of applause. Love this community. Let's take a couple more questions. Hell yeah, Tammy. There's a couple of baby boomers on here. Very happy, healthy baby boomers. Yeah, Mike, there he is. You're like on the young side of a baby boomer, but you just made the cut. It's like I just barely made the cut for millennial.
Do you
So
mind if I get the link to the summit again? My husband just hearing it over got mad at me and said, "Why didn't you tell me about this? Now I'm going to register my time off so you can go to the event."
hell yeah. Also, let's give her and her husband a round of applause. I love it when families, when partners work together. When couples work together, you're 10 times more likely to see success. Now, that 10 times more likely, I don't know if that's true. That's a stat I'm pulling right out of my head. But I think, show of hands couples, if you think it's a lot easier to have your spouse on board, man, it's got to be 10x. That's it all day. I've interviewed multi-million, decamillionaires who have told me that if it wasn't for their spouse, they wouldn't be where they are. That is their number one piece of advice is your partnership. So fantastic. The event link is summit2024.alchemiststation.com. And Doreen, I just realized we should probably reactivate the link Business Pro Summit to direct to right to that site because Business Pro Summit's a lot shorter.
Yes, we are still working on the website, but it's workable. So you can get your tickets now, but you will see some changes on the website coming soon.
Very cool. And if you do go on the site and you see that the executive tickets are already sold out, that is because we already sold out our executive tickets. They're sold because our sponsors and our leaders, our event leaders, all got tickets as executives. So the only tickets available are VIP now and general tickets. So I apologize. If you do want an executive ticket, we have some reserved. So if you're volunteering in leading one of our events or you're a sponsor to one of our events, that is a benefit, a bonus that comes with helping the mission. So one more time, let's give all of our leaders and our sponsors a round of applause. Appreciate what you do. Very thankful for your service. We know it's a lot of work, but you also get paid very well for all the relationships and the connections. So smart people. One more question. Let's take a couple more. We'll be on for 10 more minutes. Doug is gone. He says you rock. Perfect.
I have a question.
Arena wise sweater. Yeah.
Oh, Jamie, you want to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. I just have a quick question. You know how we always go back to SMART goals? You know, what do they stand
Specific,
for?
measurable, actionable.
Specific, measurable, actionable, time-bounded, realistic. And then we talk about 10x. How do you really get a realistic action steps, but still seeing that big vision that is 10xing, like that's something to go towards to. But today, do the work that can be done today. There's realistic, attainable, smart, measurable. Because if you give me a lot to do, I may like back out because it seems too much. But if I have realistic steps to achieve and how to's, I can totally crush it.
Wow. Show fans if that's a great question. If we believe that Dorina is asking the right stuff. So 10x, yes. I breezed over create a 10x plan, right? That was earlier today. That was step 2, create a 10x plan, like an action steps to actually do it. The way you do this is you look at the action steps today that would get you a piece of what you do, what you already do. And then you math up, like what would the 10x look like? You're going to have to increase amount of activity, but it doesn't have to be your activity. What your action steps will be if you're looking to 10x is more on the management side. You're going to have to hire and recruit or inspire people to come into your space. When I went from managing 10 units, I went from managing 22 units to 84 units. I had to bring on an assistant to manage my units. I brought in somebody who could manage the calls and everything. When we bought 35 units out in Decatur, a state I'm not in, we went and hired a property manager. When I look at the 10x plan, who here would like to see how to buy $5 billion worth of real estate? It's been a little while since I showed the spreadsheet. If you're interested, show your hands to the camera. All right. So this very quickly is a spreadsheet that I built for my mastermind. And inside the mastermind, we do review how much you should buy, like how much you should buy in order to get your financial freedom number. This is a $5 billion portfolio. This is $1 billion in equity because it's got $4 billion of debt. So in order to get to a goal like that, that's more than 10x from where I'm at today. The max amount of real estate I've owned is right around here. So in theory, if I doubled every year, I would be 10 years away. Now, the property I just bought is a property along this size, and I bought with about that much equity inside of it. So that property, in order to, wherever you're at, to set the goal to do this, I look over here at the right of the down payment I'd have to raise. And then I look right here at the amount of property managers I would have to put in place. Those are the two components that I have to look at when I 10x. Show of hands if that makes sense. Capital and labor. Those are the two components that I have to look at. And the third component is the property size itself. Without a deal, so there's three components of real estate: deals, money, labor. Without a deal, I don't have the ability to raise capital, and without capital and a deal, I don't have the problem of labor. I don't need people or staff. So based on my equity goal or my cash flow goal or my monthly cash flow goal, I can decide what size property I must buy. Show of hands for following along, if this makes sense. So for the average person who tells me I want to earn $10,000 passive income, we would go to this 14,000 passive income. I'd slide to the right. I'd say you need a $5 million portfolio. Who, by the way, has heard me say buy a $5 million portfolio for $4 million? The easiest way to become a millionaire, correct? So this is the philosophy I often talk about. And the reason I talk about it is because to me, it's the easiest thing to help a person get to $1 million. This is my 1-year plan. If I step back and somebody says, well, I'm willing to do it in 2 years, this is the type of property I buy. Column 15. This is my 2-year plan. This is my 3-year plan. This is my 4-year plan. This is my 5-year plan. Notice this number that says 15 years. That's because I'm going for the 5 billion. I'm going for the $1 billion in equity. Show of hands if you understand. It takes a little longer to double your way to $1 billion. So that is how I set the 10x goals. Oh, let me go one step further. I said I need to raise capital, right? So if I want to raise, we'll call it, to get the $1 billion of equity, I would have to raise $1.7 billion worth of capital. And so the type of investor I would go through wouldn't be $50,000 investors because I need 35,000 of them. But if you're only looking to raise $1 million, you only need 50, $1,000 a person investors. So you could do that reasonably. I don't like anything in yellow. I prefer to stick to the green line. So in order to get to that almost $2 billion worth of capital, I would have to raise it from 7 investors who minimum put $250 million in. Or I can raise it from 2 investors who minimum put $1 billion towards deals. Show of hands, we understand now the action steps are starting to reveal themselves. I now need to go and build relationships with hedge funds. If that was my goal to hit this year, if I was looking to build a $5 billion portfolio this year, I would have to build relationships with hedge funds. If I was looking to do, let's call it right here, build a $600,000 or $500 million portfolio, I could do it through family offices. 4 family offices could easily get me to that level of net worth, cash flow. So hence we're understanding now the activities I'd have to put into place. I have to go build, and I probably would build a whole community of family offices. And by the way, that's my plan. Over the next 5 years, that's what I will shift towards. If you're only looking to raise $1 million, maybe you just need huge or large or mid-term investors. Now you know how many you got to talk to, right? Now you know how many you have to have. So if it's easier just to see it sometimes. You need a spreadsheet sometimes to look at 10x actions. So you can build something like that yourself, right? You can build out an action plan. Like look at the metrics and say, okay, this would be the amount of activity I would have to do in order to get there. At least those are lagging KPIs. The leading KPIs, how many calls I'd have to make to reach out to hedge funds, I don't know that yet. That's where 10x comes involved. Whatever I think the number is, I'm probably wrong. I probably have to 10x that number. If I think I got to call 100 hedge funds, I probably got to call 1,000 hedge funds. So friends, forget it. Cool. Awesome. Let's give Doreen a round of applause. Great question. Great question. And that, by the way, is just scraping the tip of the ice. If you really want to go deep with it, schedule a call with Billy Reuter. He'll go deeper with how to build out those plans for you. That's what he does. Go ahead, Jamie.
So my question was, what is the best way to pinpoint emerging markets? Like trying to find exactly where the population is kind of going, where people are moving to, kind of that kind of thing.
That is a loaded question. So there's a book called Emerging Markets.
You need to.
So Dave Lindahl wrote a book called Emerging Markets. That would be the book I would send somebody. The fastest way for me to get you to have that knowledge is read the book Emerging Markets. If I were to say do it quick understanding would be go to PropStream and see who's flipping where. Look at the cities that are doing the most amount of flips, or you can use the platform privy.pro and see what communities are flipping the most. PropStream and Privy show you active investments. So when you see a lot of investor transactions happening 3 months in between each other, 3 to 6 months, they purchased and then sold again. That's a sign that that market is on the rise. That's a sign that the market's flipping pretty heavy, and it's probably in a growth path. That is a pro tip. That is not it is a rule of thumb. It is a gauge, but you'd have to still do your research. And Jamie, the best advice I have is call the city planning department, and ask them where their growth path is. Ask them what their plan is to develop, what sections of the city, what streets of the city they're developing. I did this in Fall River, and I knew that they were investing heavily on this East Main Street. And I bought property in East Main. I bought the biggest building on East Main Street. And then they tore up the whole street. They put new sidewalks. They paid for us to get new gas lines. They did all these renovations for free. And it really helped, the property values of that property. I bought it for 365,000, and we just sold it for 780,000. But we made money off of it the entire time. 10 units, hard not to cash flow, especially when you buy it that cheap. That helpful?
Man, that's definitely helpful. I'll definitely be taking a look at all that.
Awesome. So again, emerging markets, the book Emerging Markets, Pro Tool, PropStream, or Privy.pro, and then look for cities with high volume flips. And understand emerging markets, you have to know at the city level what's actually happening. When we flew out to Jacksonville, we drove out to Jacksonville, we went down to City Hall and we went right to the Community Development Board. And we just walked right in. We went and we found them and we were like, okay, guys, like, where's the growth path? And they were like, there fucking is none. And so
You're
so
talking
we
about
knew
Jackson.
talking about Jackson. Sorry, Jackson, Mississippi. So when we knew like there is no plan. So that's a scary market. I'm very interested in it though, because the government just assigned $1 billion to Jackson. So they're going to be doing a lot of infrastructure. They just haven't quite decided what that's going to look like. They don't have a city development plan. And when I spoke to them, I said, that's your first thing you need to do. You need to get your city development plan put in place. And we're working with them. We're working with the development board there. The guy is really, really nice. He likes Alchemist Nation. He's like, would you teach classes here in the city? Like, he really likes the idea of us actually going out there and helping develop, which again, you have no idea what you can deliver until you go down to the city and actually find out what's going on. And then you get a lot of unfair advantages. Fall River used to send me so many deals, housing department. I will never say who it was because that could get them in trouble. But the housing department used to send me properties and be like, hey, like, this guy's behind. Like, this guy's got problems, right? He's got tenants that keep calling. Like, could you go in there and buy the stuff and fix it all up? Don't ever tell anybody that you're getting that. I don't necessarily invest in the city anymore, so I'm not too worried about it. But I will suggest to you get really close to housing department, the community development board, anybody who deals with housing on any level inside the city, the tax assessor's office. Like, those are really, really good places to find out what's happening so you can get an unfair advantage. Even the local guys in the city don't even know this stuff. So like, you can get a really good, clear, unfair advantage of what's actually happening, and use that to your advantage.
Did we?
Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, I just got distracted, but did you mention Ken McElroy's the ABCs of real estate investing?
I love it. So that's a good book for understanding and evaluating deals. ABCs of real estate investing will help you understand deals, help you evaluate a market, the A class, B class, C class. That is a bar none. Everybody in this room should read that book because it'll give you the fundamentals of how to evaluate a property and evaluate a deal, and evaluate a market.
Yeah, exactly. Evaluate a market, because a lot of times somebody has something in Cleveland and you're like, I don't live in Cleveland, but Ken gives a whole step-by-step of all the different things you should look at, even stuff from your library and population, et cetera, et cetera. Yep.
I'm 100% behind that. And Dorina just dropped in the chat, follow Ken McElroy on YouTube. His show is fantastic. I learn a lot from listening to him. He's very involved in the national market and the federal laws that are happening. So it's really a valuable resource. And he aims to be super helpful to real estate investors. Todd, I also love Cleveland. If you got boots in the ground.
Cleveland's a good market. Good market.
Cleveland rocks. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got things to do. We can't stay on a call all day, because if we did, we wouldn't be getting stuff done. It's not about how much you learn. It's about how much you apply. Cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always work with the best. I will see you next week for Wealth Principle 21. Cheers.
Cheers.